Hey there! Welcome to the channel where you will find love, laughs, and DIYs. My name is Crafty Kathy, and I'm so happy and thankful that you came to craft with me today. I want to remind you we're doing our Christmas series every Tuesday and Friday at 6:30. And check out this sweet picture of Sabby after he got his hair cut this week. He wanted to introduce the first DIY. So I got this little box at Goodwill. I paid $3.99 for it. When you open it up, it's a little shelf. So all I'm going to do is just get this label or the sticker off the back and get it cleaned up and ready for a good painting. I gave it 2 coats of my favorite off-white color, which is Vintage Linen by DIY Paint. And y'all know that is my favorite paint. It's clay-based and it just is absolutely amazing. It's good coverage. And I don't show myself painting this whole thing, I don't think. But I gave it 2 good full coats. I've had a lot of people tell me that they absolutely love the iOd transfers and molds and stuff, but they just can't afford it right now. So I'm going to show y'all a very affordable way that you can make beautiful decor. You take you a $1 bag from the Dollar Tree. Now, any picture on the front that you want, I just love the red truck. So I cut my bag in half. And then I'm going to open that little part up at the top where the little handles are. And I'm going to cut that away so you don't see those 2 little holes that are up there. And I cut kind of as close to the picture as I possibly could. I'm going to lay it down on the front of my little box here. And I used my fingernails and just to make like a little indentation to show myself where I needed to cut it at. Now, I took my little rotary cutters and my little mat, and I can see perfectly right there where to cut it at. And it makes a great straight line. You can use scissors or whatever. Lay it down on there, and I'm going to use the DIY liquid patina. It's kind of like Mod Podge. It's a little bit thinner, and I actually like it better. But use Mod Podge, Elmer's glue, whatever you have. The bag will stick. So you just put down your liquid patina, and you see the top up there did try to curl up on me in some little spots, but I just kind of held it down until it dried enough to grab a hold. And then after it was totally dry underneath, I sealed it with another layer of the liquid patina. I also used my little brayer to roll out any wrinkles or bubbles. And to be honest, it really didn't have that many. The biggest problem I had with the bag was the little areas up at the top. Like I was telling you, they kind of wanted to curl down, but I just held it until it dried enough to get a good grip on itself. Now, I did use 2 of the little stamps that came from the iOd stamp that's called Blitz. And it says Christmas and Comfort. Because Christmas comfort to me is just like you're out in the country, you got your little old vintage truck in the front. Man, I mean, what else would you want? Some snow? Come on. I thought that was beautiful. If you don't have the stamps, though, you can always use those stickers that come from the Dollar Tree. Paint them black if you want them black or green or whatever. I used a little dauber and put a little bit of that Vintage Linen off-white color that I painted that with and just kind of went around the bottom, dabbing it. And that way it would kind of look like snow coming up on the sides. It just kind of brings the picture in a little bit better and makes it look more natural to me. And since I already had my black archival ink out, I just put a little bit of it on the end of a paintbrush because I wanted this little knob to be black. I wanted it to have a little bit of a different color, than the rest of it so that it would kind of stick out some. So I literally painted that with this black permanent ink. Any areas of the paint that I get a little bit too thick or what have you, I just go around it with a little bit of a sanding sponge and it comes right off. Plus, I wanted it to be sanded down anyway. I'm going to take this color called Rich Black. It's a chalk paint by Home Decor Folk Art. And I just lightly dry brushed and rubbed across the top and all around the inside just to kind of give it a distressed look. And I like the way that the black looks with that. And I like the way that this looks so well. I just went around the whole box and distressed it in that same way. And I just now realized I have one of those little pre-made bows up at the top on the left side. Now, I got these at Walmart. They were like $5 for, I think, 24 of them. And at Christmas time, I like to get little pre-made ribbons that's already made. All I have to do is clip off the back, which is like bread ties, clip it off and pop it on with a little hot glue. It's easy and quick, and it's nice to be able to cut corners sometimes when you can. And of course, I put a button in the middle of that bow. Let me know what you think about this first one. Now for DIY number 2, I am going to use some of the iOd molds. I've got the one that's got the reindeer on it and the little bells. And I've also got the one that's got all the different snowflakes on it. And I like to use the DAS clay. I get it off of Amazon. It is in my Amazon store. To me, it's really easy to use. It's buttery soft, and it's a good price. And so you see how easy these molds are. They have like a little lip over the sides of them. So when you push that clay down, it just basically makes it's so easy. And I'm not going to show you the whole process of me doing this, but all I do is just put a little bit of cornstarch down first because it helps it to not stick. Then I put my clay in the little molds, and then I pop it in the freezer for about 15 minutes, and it just hardens it up enough to where it will pop right out of these things when you're done. And I've got these little hanging boxes. I got these from Southeastern Salvage. I don't know if you guys have one in your area. They have like household supplies, building supplies and stuff really cheap. They were $4 a piece, and then I got a bigger one for $6. I'm going to use my vintage linen, which is the off-white color. And I'm also going to use gypsy green, my favorite green color. And I'm going to use this black again from the Folk Art Home Decor. All I'm going to do with the black is just go around on mainly the edges and the sides, like where I would want black to be showing through the paint, and just kind of paint it just really haphazardly and just kind of throwing it on there. And I'm also going to take a little bit of wax. You can just use an old cheap candle. It doesn't matter. And I also go over those areas where I did black. That way that paint is not going to be apt to sticking over that black part right there. And it's going to come right off and show through and distress the way I wanted to. Now I painted one of my boxes the vintage linen color. And the other one I'm going to paint that beautiful gypsy green color. And also, when I painted these, I really didn't give them like an all-over color. I guess the best way I could describe what I'm doing here is like a very heavy-handed distressing. Because you know when you do like a dry brushing and you do just very, very little? Well, I did that, but I did it kind of heavy, where only a little bit of that wood would be peeping through. And a little bit of the black is even peeping through in some areas. And all this is going to do is just kind of save me a step and making the distressing not so much to have to do. And after I had my molds in the freezer for 15 minutes, I just wanted to show y'all how easy these were to pop out and how much detail these things have on them. I guess that's why I love iOd so much, is because I know I'm never going to be disappointed. It's got so much detail and it's so beautiful. But these just turned out absolutely gorgeous. And when I'm doing my molds, I just go ahead and fill that whole tray up. Even if I'm just going to use like the reindeer off of it or whatever, I go ahead and fill it all up because I can always use the rest of it at a later time, and I don't have to fool with making it, you know. So I go around with this little Cricut tool. You can use a credit card or anything, and I'm just kind of scratching the areas or kind of rubbing over the areas where I put that black. Mostly just around the edges, and so that black will peep out even more. Then I take all of my little molds and I went ahead and painted them. I like to use either like the antique wax color on the deer, or sometimes I use truffle. It just depends really on what mood I'm in. And I absolutely love this gold color, and it's made by Folk Art, and it's called Metallics, and it's a gold color, and it's really pretty to use at Christmas. It kind of gives everything a little bit of a sparkle. I went over my deer with just a little bit of the color Mineral, and I just dry brushed that on there. And dry brushing just means when like your brush is literally just barely has a little bit of paint on it, you are dry brushing it on there. I'm going to use my Type Bond Quick and Thick. It's a wood glue, but it really helps these molds stick excellent. And I just go over it and I rub it in with my finger. You can use a paintbrush if you don't like to get them hands dirty, but it don't bother me. And so I just put it all over my little reindeer and put him exactly where I want him to hold at. Then I have this little piece that came out of a little pack that I got at Dollar Tree, and it's really just like a tiny little piece of the greenery, and it had one of those little red shiny bells on it, or little shiny balls on it, and I added one of the little pine cones that comes in the pack at Dollar Tree, and it's the little bitty pine cones. And I wanted it to be snowy, so I took that vintage linen that I had left on that brush and just kind of brushed over it so it would have a snow effect to it. Then I'm going to take two of the little snowflakes that I have, and I actually like to distress over them with this gold color because it brings out, I don't know, I just like the way it looks. And it's got like raised areas and lower areas. And so I just go over that raised area with that gold color, and it's just like it brings something so pretty to me. And so I just stuck one in the front and behind the little reindeer. And I took one of my little bows, and these are one of the little bows that I got from Walmart that's pre-made. I dovetail the bottoms, and you see what I'm talking about. It's like a little bread tie on the back of it. I twist it one or two times so that it's going to stay together, and then I just cut that off, and then I just glue that at the very top, kind of catty corner on my little box. And if y'all know me, you know that I'm a button girl, that's my little finishing touch that I love to add to my DIYs, especially if there's a vintage theme. There's just something vintage to buttons to me, and I just put one right behind that pine cone, almost like it was standing up. Then I added a green button up there to my bow. Then I moved on to the next box because I still wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do to finish that one. So I took one of these little wood pieces from the Dollar Tree that says Season's Greetings, and I just know I'm going to be using a lot of these this Christmas because I absolutely love the little wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. They're a good price, and they're easy to pop on a DIY. I just gave it a good color of crimson, and then that is the Waverly Crimson, and then I'm going to stick it right in the front. I'm going to add two little buttons, and I got these buttons at Hobby Lobby. They're red and white striped, and I thought they were so adorable. Now I'm going to take these little gingerbread, and I got these from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use Dixie Belle's Voodoo Wax. It's the exact same thing as the antique wax. It might even be just a little bit darker, but I wiped a little bit of it on there with the paintbrush and then wiped it off. Then I took this little craft pen, it's white, it come from the Dollar Tree, and I just made a little squiggle across his forehead and on his little arms and legs to make it look like icing is on him. And then I go around the gingerbread and make like a little, like a dot and a line, like he sewed all the way around him. Then I took one of my Sharpies, and it's the little pointy end Sharpie, and I gave him some eyes, and they're just basically round dots. I also drew a little smiley face on there. Then I went back in with that white pen again, and I gave him little white dots on his eyes, and also to make little cheeks and 3 little buttons down the center part of him. And I'm going to put 2 of these little gingerbreads, one on each side of this sign that says Season's Greetings. Now I have a total of 6 gingerbread, and I went ahead and did all of those the same way with that brown gel stain. And I didn't draw anything on these though. I just left them plain brown, and then I just kind of wiped off the excess of that gel stain. Then I'm simply just going to take my hot glue gun and put 3 on each side of this. And I did them in catty corner ways so they're not just straight up and down. I thought that was cute and kind of gave it a little added touch. They look like they're running like the gingerbread man does. I added one of my little red and white pre-made bows to the center of this. And I stuck another one of those little buttons in the center, the little red and white striped ones from Hobby Lobby. Now this is the next day when I had figured out what I wanted to do. I did change my bow to a red and black one up in the corner there. I'm going to take some of these little balls, and these came from Dollar General, but you can get these at Dollar Tree. It's the little small, little ornament looking balls. And I just took fishing wire and tied it to 3 of those. And I used glue dots. And we're going to glue these to the very top of this little box. And that way they're going to kind of fall down and look like they're little ornaments hanging. I thought that was the cutest idea, and it just came to me all of a sudden. So I had to run out to my craft room and finish this box for y'all. So I did 2 red ones, and then I did a gold one in the center so that it would match those gold snowflakes. This is the first time I've ever used glue dots before. I want to say I got these at Walmart. It may have even been Dollar Tree. I don't know. But they're simply just literally glue dots. If you've never used them before, and you peel it off with your finger almost like a sticker, and I just popped it right up there, and it held these little ornaments perfectly. So I hung all 3 of those at different lengths. And I also took a pine pick that I got from Walmart. It was like $1.28, and it's just a plain little pine pick. And I laid it inside the box. And that little Christmas tree that's inside the box is also from Walmart for 98 cents. Now, you can get these at Dollar Tree, but they're a little bit cheaper actually at Walmart. So I bought a green one and a white one to go in these little boxes. I think these are adorable, but we need some lights. I took some little string lights that I get off of Amazon, and I'll leave the link for them down in the description box. There's probably about maybe 30 little lights on each little strand, and these are easy to use when you have a small project. So all I did was just unwind it. I took my little tree out, and I wound it around the Christmas tree so that it would have lights that kind of shine out. And then I just put the rest of it around that little pick that I put inside the box. I didn't really put it in there in any special way, just wherever it would fit, that's where I stuck it at, because there's actually a lot more lights on there than what I needed. And I'm just going to glue the little battery pack on the back of it, and I glued it in a way to where if you wanted to change the battery out, all you had to do was just unscrew the little back part and pop the little battery that goes in there right out and put another one in. Now that's always important to me because you know I sell these in my booth, so I want to make sure that people can change the lights out if they need to. Now let me know what you think about these. I think they're precious. We're already going into our last DIY of the day, and this is really going to impress your friends. I took an old mailbox post, which is a 4x4, and we cut it 30 inches long, and all I'm doing is screwing a 7x7 into that 4x4. The 4x4 is the tall one, and the 7x7 is that square block on the top. And I'll put all these measurements in the description box. Now I have a 10x10 square on the very top here, and it's also 1.5 inches thick. And I had put 4 screws in it, and I had to back them out because I didn't get them totally straight. So I'm just going to screw these 4 back in there. The screws that I used are 2 inches long. And so what I'm doing essentially is making this one whole piece. This bigger one is actually going to be the bottom, and then it's going to be 10x10 on the bottom, then a 7x7, and then that post. Now on the very top here, this one is a 6x6, and it's only 1 inch thick. And we're just going to put 1 screw into it to hold it down. Now here I am inside my craft room, and we're going to paint this. I'm going to use rich black, and I'm just going to do like I did on the boxes. I'm going to hit the edges, and I'm just basically kind of doing a heavy dry brushing. I hit the edges or anywhere where I might want a little bit of black to show through. And if it makes it any easier, you can see the very bottom of that. That is the 10x10, and then that second layer is the 7x7 down there that I'm painting now. And then that's the post on top of it, the mailbox post, and that was the 4x4, and then on that very, very top was the 6x6. I'm actually going to put a topper on all this to make it look like a little mailbox or like a little sign, and I will glue the top part on though. So anyways, I just wanted to show y'all. I didn't show myself cutting it, and I'm sorry that I didn't do that, but I mean, cutting wood is cutting wood. I just wanted you to have the measurements, and I wanted you to see here how sloppily I'm putting this black on. Literally, I'm just putting it on all the edges and corners. Now here, I noticed that I really did like the way that black looked, so I was going a little bit heavier than what I intended to. First, it was just the corners and edges, and then I kind of added a little bit here and there, kind of in the middle of the post, and just, I mean, it was really haphazardly. There's no rhyme or reason to where I put it. I just did what I thought would look good. Anywhere where I would want black to be peeking through. Now here's just a quick recap. I don't want to go too fast. I want you guys to be able to see. But when I'm done painting, do you see how I did? I just basically dry brushed it mostly on the corners and edges. I did add a little bit of the black there in the centers, anywhere where I would want black peeking through. And you don't have to use these exact measurements that I used on the top, on all the different pieces. It's just what I had in my pile of excess wood. Here I've got my candle wax. And remember I said you can just use an old, I'm so graceful, y'all. An old, just junky candle even. You just need the wax. And I'm just going around the corners and the edges mostly, is anywhere where I don't want that paint to grab onto. In case you're wondering, the reason why I kept turning around and talking to the camera is because I was going to talk during this part, but this little episode here of me waxing this went on for like 20 minutes, so I just sped it up a little bit. I used a brush that was kind of fanned out almost, and I'm going in with my vintage linen, which is my favorite off-white color, and I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so I can literally show y'all how I slap this paint on here. I do like a very thorough dry brushing.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
And I'm going to bring the camera in just a little bit closer so you can get a better view up close of what I'm doing here. I think you'll be able to see it a little bit better and actually see what that wood looks like up close. But as always, paint it the way that you want to paint it. I just really like the way that this looks because to me, it looks like an old mailbox post that's been out in the weather. And at one time, it was beautiful and white and pristine. But over time, it's just kind of, you know, weathered down to this look. And you'll notice some areas I get a little bit better coverage than I do in others, but I'm actually purposely doing that. Now we're going to focus on the bottom part, and I'm going to fix the camera so you can see that a little bit better. But I kind of do the bottom just the same. I get a little bit better coverage down there, like cover it a little bit more. But you see the basic shape of this. Like I said, I used a 10 by 10 and a 7 by 7 on that bottom, but you don't have to use those exact measurements that I do. This is just what was in my wood pile, and I do think that you need around a 10 by 10 on that bottom because you want it to be thick enough and strong enough where it's not going to be knocked over or I mean, for some reason, if you was to put it outside, you don't want the wind to blow it over. Although I don't know that anybody would have a stocking hanger outside. But you may want to use it as just like a regular little pole and put up a little sign on it, you know, that says Santa stop here or whatever. You know, you may not want to use it as a stocking hanger, but that's what this one's going to be. Now here I am outside. I have a 1/2 inch spade bit in my drill, and I'm just going to make a hole in my post. And my dowel that I'm going to use is a 1/2 inch thick. And so this is my dowel here. And I think I went in about 1/2 inch inside my pole here. Now that spade bit that I'm using, all it does is create a hole in your piece of wood. And I wanted it to be the same size as my dowel. And like I said, my dowel is a 1/2 inch. And I think I go in, like, pushed in that bit about 1/2 inch so that it would hold in there by itself with just wood glue. I really hope that this is making sense, but I think you guys are probably like me. You learn mostly by sight anyway. Even if somebody is a fumbling fool and not really making a lot of sense, you can kind of gather what they're doing. Now, I have one of those little tabletop saws that I got from Amazon, and it's linked in my Amazon store. They're about 50 bucks, and my dowel was 3 foot long, and I cut it down to the size that I wanted with my little tabletop saw, and I'm taking my black paint and giving it one coat. Back outside, I've got my Type Bond Quick and Thick. It's a good wood glue, and I'm just going to put it around the edge. And you see about how far down I'm going to be putting this, and that's probably about how deep I made that hole with that spade bit. I'm just going to put a little bit on the end and rub it in, and then I use Star Bond glue that is the medium thick, and it happens to be a black color. I put a little bit of it on a paintbrush and put it all inside that hole, and then I use that accelerator to spray the dowel itself and stuck it in there. So I actually have the Star Bond glue holding it on and the wood glue so that it will dry and be perfectly hardened. Now, these are the only hooks I had. I got these off Amazon, and I'm making pilot holes so that I will know where to put my screws at. All I'm doing, if you can see through my hair, is I am holding up exactly where I want that hook at, and I'm going to make 2 little pilot holes with my little drill. Now, I did this all around this little pole on 3 sides. The side where the dowel is going to be sticking out, you could put a stocking underneath it if you wanted to, but I didn't. So mine is going to hold 3 stockings. So in other words, I put the 3 little holes for the hooks all the way around except for where the dowel is. after I made my pilot holes, I just hold my little hook up with the screws, and then I'm actually going to screw it in this time. And it holds 2 screws for each little hook. And before I forget to mention, the inspiration for this piece came from LF Rustics off of TikTok.
Ta-da! Ta-da!
I even embarrass myself sometimes. So I have this Merry Christmas that came from Hobby Lobby. It was normally $4, but it was half off, so it was only $2. I wanted to do this instead of the traditional way that I've seen other people. They make like an actual little wood sign that says Santa stop here or whatever. I could have done that, but I didn't want to fool with the Cricut, to be honest with you, or anything else. I thought this will be easy, this will be simple, and it will be pretty. So I just cut all of my jute twine off of this, and we're going to paint it really good with that rich black. And I certainly had enough wood where I could have made all that. But like I said, I've had a rough week, guys. My daughter's been sick. I've been sick. Just common allergies and cold and that kind of thing. Nothing, crazy or anything. And it's been just a busy, crazy week. So I kind of wanted this to be as short and sweet as I could get it, but get to the point where y'all could see how to make these because they are so beautiful. I am back outside again, and I'm going to show y'all how to hang this. I just used this cord that I get at Walmart, and it's called hemp cord, and it's black because I thought that would look good instead of just using jute. You can use jute, but I thought that this black looked really good, and it went with the color that I did the Merry Christmas. And so if I move my arm, there we go, you can actually see I just tied it around the M and the Y in the word Merry, and then just tied a couple of knots in the top to hold the little sign up. Then after I tied it, I kind of slid it over so it would be exactly where I wanted it to be. I didn't want it sticking out too far from the end of that dowel. I had these 2 pine picks that came from Walmart, and I think they're only like $1.28 a piece. My plan was to put these, butt them up, just like that, and I'm going to take tie wraps and wrap them together. So after I butted them up, I took my first tie wrap and put it kind of in the middle of both of them because I thought that would give it the most stability. And then I added the other one, and then I just cut off the little excess there that you don't need after you tie your tie wrap. And this bow that I have is a bow that I had already made. And it is just a messy bow. And it is literally 3 pieces of ribbon made in a crisscross. That's all it is. I have the red and black buffalo check, and then a brown and white one, and the Merry Christmas in the front, the smaller one. And then, of course, my button in the middle. Now, like I said, I just made an X with each of those to make a very simple, messy bow. And I'm just hot gluing that onto my bow, or onto my picks, so it will be one solid piece to put over the words Merry Christmas. I'm going to be selling this stocking holder more than likely, so I wanted it to stick on there and not come off. So I used some more of that Star Bond medium thick glue, that's the black. I just kind of brushed it on the back and then used some of that accelerator on the dowel itself. And I also used a little bit of hot glue and held it on there until it was stuck. Now this very last step is super easy. You can take anything you can find or don't have to use anything at all. But I found a piece of a chair leg. That's all this is. I cut it off and I wanted it to be on the very top to look like a post. So all I did was take my rich black paint and I painted this, and I gave it one good coat all over. Then I simply just took my Titebond wood glue and my hot glue and used a little bit of both of them, because that way I got a good permanent hold for later, and the hot glue will give me a hold right now. And I just stuck that right down in the center, right over that nail. or the screw, I'm sorry. So let me know what you think about this one. It's not hard, but there's a lot of steps.
Oh, it's Christmas time. I feel sad, I can't help it. Got you on my mind. I don't know how to cope this.
Hey, if you stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you. I am so thankful and I'm so happy to have you here with me. I want you to subscribe so we can become crafting best friends. And if you would, give me a like because that really helps me out on the algorithm here on YouTube. And don't forget, my videos are every Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Before I share my bloopers, I have to show you guys my booth. A company called iOd that does lighting sent me these lights at the top I've got up here. They are amazing. This is 96 foot of lights, and it made such a difference in my space and it brightened it up. Now they're giving a coupon code. If you put in Kathy20, you will get 20% off of any of their stuff, their lights, whatever. But I'm going to leave their link in the description box below. Please go check them out. They are amazing. It really made such a difference in my booth. I'll see you guys soon. God bless you and your families. I love you.
Am I on? Am I on? Okay. Whenever I come down out of the mountains, my mama always told me to try buying a weenies. Oh, okay, I got it backwards. Okay, like that. Okay, I got it now. These are better than possum meat, and they go a really long way if you don't have time to run over a possum on your own. So, I suggest that you try these good old Vienna wieners. Oh, weenies? Okay, Vienna weenies. I always called them Vienna wieners. Is my commercial over? Huh? I'm not saying oh. Really? Okay. Take two on Armor Vienna weenies. Even though it says sausage, it's wieners. So, anytime my mama said when I come out of the mountains, I go for these Vienna weenies. If I don't have time to run over a possum on my own, these are the second best thing to possums do, and they last a very long time. So I suggest that you try these Vienna wieners. And guess what? I just know that Dolly Parton and Loretta eats these. I just know it. I know that's not in the script, but you know if I say it, then everybody's going to come and try to eat Vienna wieners because Dolly and Loretta, hello. Shout out Dolly and Loretta. You know I love you girls, and I know yous are all watching. I'm headed to Hollywood. Well, I just wanted to come on here and let all of y'all know that the great Loretta has passed away. I have been crying my eyes out, y'all. You know I love Loretta, and I'm always doing shout-outs to her. And Kathy's even named her chicken Loretta after her. You know we love her. I mean, there is no better story than a poor old girl out of the mountains that made it big and went to Hollywood. I mean, how do y'all think that I got my ideas? I wasn't born this smart. I mean, I probably was, but the first time when I seen Coal Miner's Daughter, I said, that's me. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna do that too. But you know what? I will get there someday. But right now, I just keep trucking along. And I know that the great Loretta is singing in the Angels Choir. And I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Loretta. We love you until we see you again. And I just wanted y'all to hear it straight from me. Because y'all know I'm her biggest fan and all. So, Anyways, we love yous and we'll be seeing